Him no make you happy. No. Him no make you feel like I do. They both turning my way. Yeah. I can feel you warming up to me. Oh. Think I got a shot like a free throw. Ready to play the game with no cheat code. Girl, you took my heart.
Hey Uncle, how you doing?
All these other girls not even close. Something's telling me that she knows. Oh, stuck in my mind, things I would do for you. Stuck in my mind, long nights thinking of you. Stuck in my mind. Oh my God, stuck in my mind.
Hey Ryan, morning. So Ryan, I'll go over gold just now over here, but your objective was correct in what you kind of said. I'll just go over it in a bit more detail.
Just wanted you closer, closer. Electric feel when you brush up on me. Oh, think I got a shot like a free throw. Ready to play the game with
Right, so let's go over to gold. Gold.
like a repo. All these other girls not even
So we can see on gold here,
telling me that she stuck in my mind. Things I would do.
I'll just give it a second just to see if a couple of more people join.
Thinking of you, stuck in my mind.
Yeah, Uncle, gold. It was a difficult one because I took a short last night here. You can see, and I'll kind of break that down. But it was pretty tough because we had this 4-hour swing low over here, and when price came down, price failed to break this 4-hour swing low. So we know it came to the extreme of that. So the anticipation was potentially, now we know we reacted to this area of supply, and we always said that this was the last area of supply in all-time highs, and if price was going to reverse, this was going to be the key area. So I'm not overly surprised that gold is rolled over here without pulling back. But saying that, yeah, it was textbook kind of trade setup, because you could see here, there's that 4-hour swing low. On a lower time frame, yes, we break it. Higher time frame, we never. But you could see structure was pretty much bang on here. We had a retracement here. We had a break of structure. So if we now mark the high to the low here, you can see price virtually slightly poked above the fib, but it stayed within this area of supply. More or less, it was within this area of supply. So as we were within this area of supply, I was just looking to take a short because I didn't know price was going to continue breaking down here, because the 4-hour swing low at that point was protected. It's only today we've really closed out of that 4-hour range. So at that point when I saw this, I just went down to lower time frame. And we can see here on lower time frame what we kind of get for that entry. So you could see on the lower time frame we had this push up, and then we had this retracement, then we had this wick above, which is a break on a lower time frame, and then we had a change of character here. So now once we had this, price never gave us a deep enough retracement here because everything was mitigated, and then we sold off. But what did we create here? We created an internal, I call 110. So then we had an internal breaker structure here. So now we had an internal breaker structure. I'm expecting what? This high to be protected. And where do we have supply? we have supply just sitting right over here. This last indecision candle before we start to sell off here. So there's our indecision candle. And you could see if I go onto the M15 here and I mark this region here, price virtually closes within our fib confluence. So if I go back to the 3-minute chart, you can see price perfectly reacts to this area of supply. And we failed to close above this swing high. And at the same time, what did we create? We created lots of liquidity here. So now all I was waiting for was price to come into this region. Let me just tidy this up a bit. So all I was waiting for was for price to come into this region. Now, you know, it was pretty late at night, like nearly 2 o'clock. So as it tapped into it, I just took the entry and I just had my stops above this swing. So first, all I was waiting for was, right, does price bounce here and continue creating liquidity? Which the probability was very, you know, the probability was no, that we were going to continue pushing down based on change of character, internal breaker structure. And then for me, you know, I was targeting this area of demand, which again, if I go on a 15-minute time frame, it fills out all of this inefficiency. So if price did decide to shift from this point, it might happen from here, but there was no confirmation of it shifting because this demand failed to break above the previous high. But all that was in the back of my head was we haven't taken out the 4-hour swing structure, so price might retrace deeper before it decides to take that out. So I was just taking a safe trade, and this is where you just got to be confident that if you didn't get in there, there was always another retracement, because what did we get here? We got another internal breaker structure. So now we mark our swing high to swing low. Look at that. Perfect rejection. So as soon as price taps into there, you could have taken an entry here. Stops just above this. And do the same. Target the low. You know, I wasn't fearful when price was pulling back here because I know I expect it. You know, once we've had a breaker structure, what can we expect? We can anticipate a pullback, and then after that we can expect price to continue. So, you know, there was a perfect opportunity for a re-entry for anyone that didn't want to catch it here. But you could see all of that understanding of price action. It was a perfect sell-off. Yeah, I could have had 2 positions, but I'm fine. Like 110 pips is more than significant. And plus, by the time that pulled back, it was like nearly 4 o'clock UK time in the morning. I was fast asleep at that point. You know, I just set my stop loss, set my take profit. Now, when I woke up, was I like, oh shit, price is just like melted? No, it wasn't, because what the hell's happened here? Yeah, no, it wasn't, because that's more than significant. You know, I don't need to be sitting there trying to catch 1 to 50s or anything, because I couldn't predict that. That doesn't align with my rules. Yes, the internal structure here, the M15s are bearish, but I also know we're in 4-hour demand, so I can't be looking to short that when the overall time frame is still bullish. So now where we've approached, we can see now what I'm expecting from gold now is we've had a change of character in the 4-hour, and you can see this is the first point we had a change of character in the 4-hour in this entire daily uptrend. So now my expectation of gold is to kind of head back down towards 1870, 1860, like long term. It's like, remember, this entire move started from like start of March, 8th of March, and it took like to the 13th of April. So it took a month for this price action to play out, and this was quite bullish pretty quick. So now what I would be expecting is we've had that change of character. Now where can we expect price to kind of head back to? So we have a couple of places. The initial place would be for price to come down into this area of demand. You know, I would like if price could give us a retracement here, then there's a continuation short. Yeah, I would say shorts up until this area of demand, but this will be the area of demand that we could start to look for pullbacks, because what has the 4 hour done? The 4 hours had a change of character. What can we anticipate? We can anticipate a 4 hour pullback. So when price comes down here, you know, we have this level here, but we also have this extreme high of the entire swing move here, you know, so we don't really get a decent 4 hour pullback here in comparison to the push down. So we can then probably anticipate, we mark the low to the high here. Look what we have in between this area here. We have this perfect indecision candle on the 1 hour before we had this sell-off, and we've engineered liquidity here. Yeah, guys, give the stream a like. I'd appreciate that. So we've engineered liquidity here now on gold. So overall, I'm not expecting long positions until we mitigate this area of demand, you know, because it's a significant area of demand. It's a previous 4 hour swing low, you know, it's a strong low because it caused a weak high to break. So it's a significant area of price action where we can expect a decent push, at least a 4 hour retracement, you know. So we could look at something like this if price kind of gives us that, and then look to start trading this back up into here for then the next leg to the downside. And from a longer term perspective, you know, I would be expecting price to coming back down here and retesting some of these lows back down at 1860, 1850. Morning, Damien. Hope you're well. So hopefully that makes sense. And anyone that wasn't here for me breaking down my trade entry, just go back and, you know, you can watch the VOD again. So now with gold, it's just, you know, for me anyway, it's just a matter of sitting on my hands. There's nothing I can do. You know, either price gives us a retracement, you know, what do we have? We have the high there, we have the low there, we have this area of supply. So now if we can get a retracement back into here before we tap into this demand, yeah, that's a great short idea for a continuation. But if price doesn't give us that and continues crashing down like it kind of did over here, it's kind of done the similar thing here. But you could see, like, price action is pretty, like, we tapped into this last area of supply, and then look how aggressively we've had the sell-offs. Aggressive, weak retracement. Aggressive, weak retracement. Aggressive sell-off. Now obviously this was kind of sideways, purely because, like, you know, sessions have closed and Asian session a bit weak, but at the same time it's a build up of perfect liquidity. Delete this. Let's go to that. Oh, what was that? Yeah, so again, now personally for me, I'm just going to delete this fib on the lower time frame as well. Just clean up my chart a bit. So now we can see from a M15 perspective, you know, we have what are we creating? We're creating some internal structures, right? So we had structure created here, we had a break here, we had a retracement, we had an internal breaker structure here. We had an internal breaker structure here. Hey Marcia, hope you're well. had another internal breaker structure here. We had another internal breaker structure here. Now this is all part of that M15 leg. You know, so now in order for price to kind of shift bullish here, kind of want to start to see some of this break back to the upside. You know, because look at this pullback. This is like a 48 pip. This 40 pip pullback. This is 48 pip pullback. You can see that clearly on the 3-minute time frame. Had a pullback here. So we had a break of a new low here, retracement, break of a new low here. Delete this for a second. Gonna delete this. So yeah, so that's where we're at with gold. So, you know, shorts back from this area are looking good. Continue with price action, because again the confidence really is there. If we go back to the higher time frame, we've had a 4-hour change of character here. Now where's the logical place that price is going to shift this market structure? It's going to be from this area of demand. You know, the probability of it happening from here is pretty random. It can, you know, the market can do whatever, but the likelihood of it happening based on how we can see order flow is perfect structure. So if we can get that retracement, great short position down into these lows here, which is still like 430 pips away, which is massive. So that's gold. If there's any pairs, guys, just say it and I'll happily kind of go over it. Now I would be anticipating to see the likes of GU and stuff start to push back to the upside, and same with the Euro USD. Let's see where Euro USD is coming to. So Euro USD was another one, which again we just need to be careful. Couple of things here. Just go to this 4-hour time frame.
Your words when you talking about my baby. I'm out of words every time that she whining for me. For me eyes only, body emotion, but her
yeah, I'll go with GU.
Ex-boyfriend sent the guys on me. Turn around when they saw the 9 on me.
Right, so I'm just going to go over Euro USD first, and then I'll go over GU. So Euro USD, you can see we were pretty close to this our fib pullback. Right now, on a higher time frame, I can't really see any real areas of demand or inefficiency below. So, you know, we could technically think that the pullback has come to an end over here, unless price continues breaking down. Like price would need to continue pushing down here in order for that. And it makes your candles red orange. Are you using it? Yeah, it's an inside bar indicator. So yeah, so price is pretty close to this pullback. Let me change this. So you can see it's pretty close to the 4-hour pullback, and price still on a daily. Now if I go into the daily time frame, you know, we have this daily area of supply that price has not yet mitigated. I just refined that down to a 4-hour. So if I go back to the chart here, you know, we've got that 4-hour up here, but I'll keep it to the daily just for the sake of keeping it to that daily. So you can see we haven't yet mitigated this zone. Like we were very close, but we never did that. So I'm still expecting price to potentially continue up here before and tap into this, probably go into the 50% of this zone before we really see a shift in market structure to enter a pullback, because we have broken the daily swing structure, so we can start to anticipate a pullback, but we can't really get into one until we see the market structure shift. So now coming down onto hourly, so you can see perfectly if we look at 15-minute structure here and we look at order flow here, you could see we have internal breaker structure here. We have that internal breaker structure here. So now at this point, this was the swing high and this was the swing low. You can see price came into it, it retested it again, but it stayed within our area of supply. Right, we never breached it. So even if you took a trade potentially here on like a lower time frame for argument's sake, you know, stops would be kind of covering this area of supply, so you'd be very close, but you'd still be in that trade, you know, because price respected that. But what did we do? The natural instinct of price action was pull back complete to start selling off again. Now, if price does decide to reverse, I'm just going to delete this fib, then what are we potentially going to see? We're potentially going to see a reversal from this point. You know, that's what's going to happen if price does decide to reverse. Now, I'm not saying it is, because again, price action is still bearish. So we could continue, and we should expect this low to be taken. We just need to wait and see what price does. You know, you can see it perfectly tapped into this fib area off this entire swing, and then we start to get a reaction from here. But that reaction could be very short-lived, and price just continues pushing down because we had this aggressive sell earlier on today. So again, right now, if I was looking at Euro USD, is there a trade for me? No, not really, because if we weren't close to that 4-hour swing pullback, which we're like marginally away from tapping into that, which was like 4 pips, I would have been comfortable here looking to continue short this, you know. But this is always the key area of reversal, our fib confluence. So you could perfectly see price mitigated this and we started to create a bit of support. So now realistically, like if you were trading Euro USD, you would expect price to come into here. If it does come back into here, and expect a break. If it comes into here and comes back and retests and we get some bullish structure forming, then we can anticipate, preempt a reversal. But if you just want to be patient and wait, it's going to be two things. You're either going to wait for price to break into this region and then look to long from here. But the first set of longs, if I was to long aggressively from this area, from this 4-hour pullback, without seeing a M15 structure change, I would go low risk and I would really just trade the pullback off of this, because what we're then expecting, let me just delete this. We're expecting this internal structure to break here. So once this breaks, what can we expect? So if we can break this, we can anticipate a pullback. So if I delete this, where's the high of the move? It would be this point here. So say we come into the base of this, or the 50% level. I would then, so if this level of supply does not get mitigated right now, and we just roll over, and price comes and breaks this, then that would be a good area for me on a lower risk to trade back into here, because we can anticipate a pullback, and we know this is the key area of reversal. But the safer trade is always going to be if we get an internal breaker structure here, and then we get a change of character to the top side, waiting for a pullback. And that just means that you just have to be patient at times. You know, it's not about just having itchy trigger fingers and just getting involved in the market at every given opportunity. You know, there's definitely a trade opportunity from down here. If we do not mitigate this area of supply, then we can trade the pullback, and we can trade key areas of supply that are not mitigated. But then that's it. You wouldn't just be holding a trade from here just expecting price to break the previous high, because nothing is telling us that in this current push down, and we know we're in a 4-hour pullback. So the 4-hour pullback, price can come all the way down to this extreme. You know, we do have on a 15-minute, looking at it now, we do have this area of demand with this area of imbalance resting between here. That's unmitigated. So price, and that sits what? Perfectly at the base of our fib. So price could come down to here. So if we get a sell-off down to here, then I would look at buying back up into this region, and like say you catch buyers from down here back up to here, is like still 66 pips. So it's still significant. But am I tempted to continue like taking a trade here? No, I'm not. You know, because the movers had the trade was up over here. That's where the trade was. You know, so if you caught a trade here, this would have been the place where we secured partials. If that was me, I would have taken like 60%, 50 to 60% off the table, moved my stops to break even, and then expecting price to potentially break this, but at the same time understanding that it might not, because it's quite close to that fib area. But the higher probability is we probably will break it, because we can see demand down here. We haven't tapped into this, so we could be reacting. We could be coming into that area pretty nicely. So you can see all of the things that kind of go into taking those trades, and having the confidence and the ability of having that multi-time frame understanding. So right, next was, I'm just going to set a limit here. An alert, sorry, not a limit, an alert for if price comes down to this area. So we had GU so GU kind of was in a similar position, but GU had a deep pullback into that 4-hour area. Now GU tapped into 4-hour area of supply, sorry, daily area of supply up over here, and then we kind of came down here and we had a change of character. Now, you know, originally I was waiting a retracement for price to come down here, but we kind of came here and then news kicked in and we pushed above. So for me personally, I'm still waiting for GU to come back into this area of demand, which you can see consolidation, and then we had the expansion, waiting for that retracement back into here. So if price can kind of come back into this region and give us some bullish momentum, we could look to continue trading this back to the upside. But am I expecting there to be a huge upside? Probably not. You know, if we do get a continuation, I'm personally thinking that we're gonna head back towards this area of supply that's unmitigated and then roll over. So, you know, this is the 4-hour pullback. So we got a 4-hour higher low, higher high, higher low, with a potential lower high to then start to to head back to the downside. Why? Because you know, we had a daily breaker structure to the upside, which was over here. And then we had another one over here. So after a daily breaker structure, what can we anticipate? We can anticipate a daily pullback. When is that daily pullback going to occur? When we see the 4-hour shift. So, you know, it's a multitude of things. But again, you'd want to wait to see some rejection here, because, you know, there's nothing saying that price hasn't just reacted from this demand. And you know, what you can see here is, now again, this is where multi-time frame is key. You can see on a 4-hour that inefficiency was filled, and not only that, price mitigated daily supply. You know, that's a daily area of supply, so it's a key area to push price down. So price could kind of roll over, and that's why it's not, I don't like to set limit orders and stuff. I like to see what price does when it comes into a zone, you know, before trading it. Any other pairs, guys? Anything anyone wants me to have a look at? Now look at gold, you know, like we were talking about. Order flow is perfectly respecting, you know, we never saw a break above. We're looking at continuing pushing down. We'll have another internal breaker structure, and all of those internal breaker structures are part of the bigger move. US 30, let's go over to US 30. I already had a look at US 30 for a while. So US 30, this is a key area of reversal I was kind of looking at. Again, kind of looking at US 30 here. You know, we had this. Now again, this is only a 4-hour structure because we had this huge sell-off on the 4-hour. So all of this price action was just a retracement on it. Then it took all of this price action to break this structure. You know, so we had this 4-hour break. We're heading down towards this area of supply. Well, I'm expecting it to head down towards here. Once we had a break, what did we enter? We entered a retracement. Now, you know, 4-hour, it's not pretty clean, but if we start going down on lower time frame, you could see this was the last area of unmitigated supply in this swing leg that caused the break of this low with this bit of imbalance, and you can see price perfectly came into this. So US 30 is pretty tough yet, right? The reason being is because look at this uptrend. We had this high, we had a low. This is internal. This is what caused the push up. Price came into demand. Demand looks like it's failing. Realistically, for me personally, you want to see a break of this low. Yeah, because this is a significant, this is the strong low that needs to be protected in this move. You know, you could, it's a tough one because we did have this pullback here. But I would really class this as a minor pullback from a swing perspective. You know, the entire swing was this push up. We had this retracement. We then broke above here. So this is the low that we need to. We had this push up. We had a retracement, and then we had this break up. So sorry, you want to be waiting for this low to be taken. You know, because this is the significant low. We had a breaker structure here, we had a pullback, this is internal, then we had the next breaker structure to the upside. And you could see, you know, it looks pretty choppy here, but it's a lot more cleaner here. So you know, we can see some weakness already coming into US30 because price mitigated demand. And what would we expect once it's mitigated demand? To create a new high, right? But we're already anticipating for that new high not to be formed because we're in the significant area of supply. And again, you can see if we look to the left, this is the swing high that needs to be protected in this downtrend, and this is the last area of supply that's unmitigated. Everything here to the left is all mitigated. This area is mitigated with these wicks. This area of supply is mitigated as we tapped into it here. The only one that wasn't mitigated was when we had this pushback. We never tapped into this supply, and then we had this area of supply that was unmitigated. So both of those have now been mitigated, so we can expect price to roll over from here. No worries, Anko. So now that we've done that, you know, we can expect to see some sort of rollover. But again, we need, you know, we had this structure. So right now we've got this low and we have this high, so we're working within this range at the moment. Like I said, weakness is already coming into the market, but I don't want to preempt that and just try to start buying this, because overall this low is what needs to be taken, because this is the low that caused that new high. So, you know, if this low gets taken, then what do we have? We have pretty much quite a bit of downside, because what we're then expecting price to roll over. And this area of demand was already mitigated by that. So where can we look to target next? You know, we have demand sitting somewhere down here, because everything else is pretty much mitigated. Demand here, mitigated that. We actually do have this area of demand that hasn't been mitigated, so this could be a good area to at least have a target on. You know, we're saying that we did have this kind of wick into it, but this could be a decent area to kind of target. Some liquidity over here. Look at that, look at gold. Perfect continuation here. This is why you just can't be sitting there buying into something. Dollar's rising today. Now, you know, DXY, what can we expect? Like looking at DXY on a 4-hour. No worries, see you later, Ryan. So DXY, you know, we tapped into that 70 to 79%. You can see it came down into this area of demand and then started to push higher. You know, is there still upside? We still do have this gap here and this inefficiency here, and supply sitting at the extreme. So just the way, you know, price mitigated the extreme, we came into this supply, filled out that gap. We do have that gap here, so we could see gold continue higher here and then come down. Sorry, not gold, DXY. And DXY is reacted to the base of this swing structure. So the likelihood is price continues its bearish structure like we have been here. You can see perfectly, mitigate supply, rolled over, came into this area of supply, we rolled over, came into this area of supply, we rolled over. So price is heading back into this area of supply, potentially for a same continuation rollover. Now gold, we do have some areas of demand prior to price pushing down into this hourly zone. So I'm just going to mark this across. You know, this could be an area where price enters a pullback. Let's go to this M15. Just tighten this up. You know, this could be an area where price reacts from. But in order for that to be the case, we would still need to see some structure shift. But the good thing is, Price is creating some internal structure. It's not like what we had here, which is more or less a free fall. So if price does come into here and gives us some sort of shift, then we could look at trading this back up into these regions like we spoke about.
Baby, won't you come home right now? Baby, won't you come home right now? Yeah, need to know that you okay. Okay, with everything I gave up for you, did it for love. No escaping, heart is taken. I've been waiting, I've been patient. Thought you've been down, heard you skip down and can't be found. Where are you?
Let's go to Euro USD again. Look at that. So like I said, I would probably be expecting price to head back down into these regions.
Don't know if you recall it, but last time I said the sun won't shine till we meet again. Be waiting all these stormy nights, oh yeah. Stormy night, oh yeah. I found you on my way yet again. We must be meant for each other, girl, oh yeah. Baby, don't fight it.
Nothing on this. AUD JPY, you'll have seen what I said on my weekly watch list. You know, I said it last week on Friday, I believe. Where is this price action? That's Tuesday. Friday, yeah. So where did we open up on Sunday? So price was somewhere around Monday 2 o'clock, Sunday 11. Yeah, so price was here. And what did I say at that point? I said we're in this area of supply. You know, we had a 4-hour breaker structure here. Let me just lower that, sorry. Yeah, if I go into 4-hour, you could see. Let's go back to the 1 hour. I'm just going to put this up here. So you can see we had a 4-hour breaker structure. What's up to what's NAS up to these days? I'll have a look. NAS has been pretty just all over the place, in all fairness. It's not been pretty clean. So I had said on Sunday's watch list that this was the low that caused this new high. You know, here's our internal breaker structure. So now, in order for price to shift bearish, we need this low to break. But you can see all that price did was mark our fib. Price came down into this demand, retested it a couple of times, and then boom, away it went. And then I said, you know, if we break above, where are we heading? We're heading. You know, we're heading towards. Let's go to the higher time frame. So we could see here, daily breaker structure. So you can see here, order flow has been pretty good here again. Change of character, daily breaker structure, daily breaker structure. We're now in a daily pullback. You know why? Because the 4-hour shifted bullish. So you can see here, price lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. We have a daily breaker structure. We have a change of character. Price, you know, this is pretty messy price action, but you can get the gist. We get a pullback here. There was no trade opportunities, but where are we heading now? You know, let's look at our daily high. Let's look at our daily low. So price is heading, we can see this perfect level of demand, supply, and that imbalance that rests between here. So this is a key daily area for price to start selling off from. And you can see all price has been doing perfectly, just respecting supply, demand, sorry, and continuing pushing up. So yeah, just gonna see what happens with this. Let's go to NAS. You're asking about NAS. So NAS has been pretty messy, right? So with NAS, you can see we've just been in this sideways. So if we look at NAS from a daily perspective, there's our daily breaker structure. So all of this has been the daily pullback. Now we have this daily area of supply that's unmitigated. You know, originally we saw a reaction off of this supply and we had a pullback, and then we start to push to the upside. So we had this imbalance in this area of supply. So I'm still expecting price to head into here before we see a deep sell-off to the downside. But till that point, you could see let's mark up our 4-hour structure, 4-hour breaker structure. We've got our 4-hour breaker structure here. So where price is sitting, it's just pretty much sideways. You know, either we get a pullback and we can start trading the 4-hour pullback before the next leg up, or price kind of needs to give some clear direction. You know, originally on the internal structure, we had this push up, we had this breakdown, we had a break up, we had a change of character. So you could see here, we had a change of character over here. Price came back into supply, sold off a few times. And then here you could see, so this was the previous low from up here, had a retracement, and then here we've had a breaker structure again, but then price pushed back to the upside to this extreme. So like now I'm just letting it be, you know, it's just there's no clear direction, because the breakdown here should have meant price pulled back and just continues in this 4H of a pullback, but it's been pretty messy. So there's not really a clear direction for NAS as per se yet. So that the safest thing is see when it comes into this area of supply, and then there should be some good sell opportunities from supply at the top. Euro AUD is a pretty good one. So if you look at Euro AUD, this actually looks pretty good for some downside action in my opinion. So you could see what Euro AUD is real. So remember, this is the weekly chart here. Euro AUD is reacted to that weekly supply that was unmitigated, right? And we have shifted bullish here, because you could see on a weekly what were we doing? You know, we had this push down, pull back, had this breakdown, we had a pull back, had this breakdown, we had a pull back, we had this breakdown, and then boom, we shifted. So, you know, price is due for a pullback after this big rally up since August of 2020. We've just been heading to the upside, so we can expect a retracement. And I'm not saying it is, but this could be a good area where price heads back down to. Lots of liquidity. Remember, this is a weekly chart, guys, but lots of liquidity here. And look at that area of demand that's unmitigated. Perfect indecision candle. So that's like long term. But if we look at here and now, what can we see? Where's our 4-hour swing structure? There was our push up, there was the retracement, there was our push up on the 4-hour. Now within this, we have internal structure. So here's our 4-hour swing low. There's our 4-hour swing high. Within this, we have internal breaker structure, internal breaker structure, internal breaker structure. Where's the last breaker structure we have? You could clearly see here. We had this push up, pull back, and then we had a breaker structure here. Then immediately we had a change of character. Now, I missed this trade. You could perfectly see price came into it and started to sell off. And it looks like it's doing the same thing here. So if price does kind of come into this deeper area, like on a 15-minute right now, in this uptrend, you could see higher high, higher low. This is pretty messy. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We have a higher high. You know, prices more or less come into this region. Now we could be selling off here. We'll just need to wait and see. But I do think there's downside at least into this area of demand. You know, what do we have here? We have some nice trend line liquidity as well. But, you know, again, order flow, price action. Supply should be respected. You can see there's the hourly supply. We haven't quite tapped it yet, but we more or less approached it. So if the 15-minute structure shifts, if we see this low broken, any retracement, we could take continuations. Because if this is the hourly pullback, you know, we're expecting 15-minute structure to maintain itself here. What have we dropped from here so far? 36 pips.
In the morning, you got me up, all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling, this kiss and make up, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day, I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say, we gon' be okay, we just gotta boom bada boom ba. I don't wanna fight, you know that I'm right. Baby, let me talk to your body. We gon' be okay, hear me when I say, if you need me, I'm gonna be by your side. If you want me, I'm gonna be there, alright. If you're on me, I'm gonna treat you the right, treat you the right way. If you call me, I'm gonna pick up the phone. If you tell me, I'm gonna meet you alone. If you're on me, I'm gonna treat you the right, treat you the right way. I'm gonna treat you right, treat you right.
Welcome back, Uncle.
I'm gonna treat you right, treat you the right way. I'm gonna treat you right every night. I'm gonna treat you right every day. I'm gonna treat you right, treat you the right way. When we're out dancing, you on my hips, me on your lips, so sweet. Both understanding. When we're a team, nothing can get to me. I'm yours for the taking. Every part, all of my heart you get. I don't fear nothing.
No worries at all.
Baby, when you're with me. You call me every night, call me every day. I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say, we gon' be okay. We just gotta boom bada boom ba. I don't wanna fight, you know that I'm right. Baby, let me talk to your body. We gon' be okay, hear me when I say, if you need me, I'm gonna be by your side. If you want me, I'm gonna be there, alright. If you're on me, I'm gonna treat you the right, treat you the right way. If you
GJ, let's have a look at GJ. I think GJ's heading to the top side. So you can see we have a... So price broke out of this area of supply. We do have a daily area of supply here. So again, I think, in my opinion, where's GJ headed towards? Take out the previous highs. Because overall on a daily, we're bullish. You know, you could see daily low, daily high. Price pulled back into our fib, and then it's been maintaining its course to the upside. So if we just kind of come back here, we do have an area of supply here, but I don't really think it's going to be like long-lived. I think it's just a minor area of supply. But overall, I mean, what am I expecting? Let's go to extremely higher time frame. Now, you could see we have, on a weekly, we have this area of imbalance, and we have supply sitting here. You know, so in my opinion, I think we're at least heading back up towards like 180 region. And the daily is pretty much perfectly maintaining its higher highs and higher lows. So we had this huge rally, we had a retracement. Now price is looking to break that. So if we just look at this from a potential reversal perspective, because we have to have both sides of the coin, this is a key area on a daily now. Not a coincidence. So I would really be expecting this demand to hold up. You know, what was this push up? There's 144 pips. So if price breaks out of this and gives us a pullback, I'll be looking at shorting GJ. See how quickly you can have that multi-time frame analysis and have an overall expectation, but a key area of pullback based on a mechanical set of rules when you read market structure. So I'm not sitting here saying, oh, GJ's going to roll over and just bloody continue full on bearish. But no, what do we currently have? Here is our last 4-hour breaker structure. So what can we expect potentially from here? In my humble opinion, unmitigated demand. We could see GJ coming back down to 161 region before the next push up. You know, because what did we do on each occasion here? Like, let's look at it. Push above into demand, break above, perfect into our fib confluence, break above, perfect into our fib confluence. So when price was crashing here, how many people were like, oh, GJ selling off, GJ selling off, blah 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 blah? It's because they don't understand high time frame structure correctly. We don't have a set of defined rules where they have a key set of defined rules to identify structure. So, like, I'm not preemptively jumping into anything here, but like we've already determined, where's the previous daily high? Previous daily high is here. Where is the daily low? The daily swing low is here. Overall, we're expecting price to continue higher, but we've had this extended push from like 24th of March and we've just been going. So the likelihood of the next push up is probably going to come from an area of demand. It's not a coincidence that we're seeing that rejection from here. And what is it already rejected? Like 80 pips. But again, I don't want to preempt absolutely anything, because what do we have sitting here? We do have demand sitting here. But we also know the 4-hour had a breaker structure here. We had a 4-hour breaker structure here.
She moving real slow when she pulling me close. Me like it when we kiss and make up. be getting paper. Me like it. Girl, that body so tight. Gonna be a long night. Me like
So again, similar concept. Once we've had a breaker structure, key area of supply, we can see price potentially pulling back from here. So again, for me personally, I'd like to see a break of this demand, or a failure of this demand, shall I say. You know, ideally, if we could break this and then come into supply, there's good short opportunities. And again, you know, if we go into the 4 hour, yes, this demand is pretty far, but you could always just target the first demand, which is unmitigated, which is down here, which from these highs is still like nearly 300 pips away. It's lots of free gems, guys. If you're not following, make sure you give the stream a follow. We have our Discord there. Feel free to join the Discord. And this is the thing, like, it's, you know, how we read market structure and how we have a mechanical set of rules. When price reacts from certain places, or it's reversing from certain places, it makes sense. You know, it's not just a random, oh, why is price, because a lot of people just like to trade momentum but don't really understand the key reversal areas, regardless of the time frame that they're trading, and they just hope that price continues in their direction. You know, where we try to eliminate hope as much as possible. I'm not saying it's 100% by any means, but we do try to limit that. Now you can see here, like I was saying, gold, perfect order flow to the downside. Why am I going to buy into this or do anything? No, just patiently wait. Patiently wait. This is great, if anything. Sorry guys, give me a sec. So yeah, this is pretty perfect for a pullback, because again, if we go back to our 15-minute, I'm actually going to delete some of this stuff here. Right, if we go back to our 15-minute and we see there's the breaker structure, and then where's the high? There's the high, here's the current low. So in order for this 15-minute swing structure to have formed, we would have a lower time frame trend, which is our internal breaks of structures. So now coming down to it, whether you look at it on a 5-minute, on a 3-minute, whatever suits you, you could see had a change of character there, breaker structure, breaker structure, breaker structure, breaker structure, breaker structure, breaker structure, breaker structure. You know, it's just continuously evolving. So our overall target for high time frame pullback on gold is down into 1955, you know, if we go into the hourly. But what we're trying to see is, if after this breaker structure, can price come here and give us a pullback to then continue shorting back down here. And the only way we're going to really identify that is by seeing a shift on the lower time frame. And this is good, because this is the market trending nicely. You know, we're not just like free falling all the way down. You know, we are creating some structures, which is great, because if we continue to do this, and then we do this, how much more confidence do we have to start trading the pullback off of this swing leg? Yeah, look at, like I said, I think DXY has upside back into this region here. Now again, we can't anticipate a reversal on DXY yet, because price hasn't given us that. You know, We had this push back here, and then here's the daily swing low, and price is looking to take that out. Now, whether it takes out or it doesn't is two different things. We'll just align ourselves with the market. You know, the natural expectation is for price to come back into, for price to mitigate this 4-hour region, and then roll over. And again, what do we have below? We have lots of liquidity below, imbalance below. So even if price shifts bullish, you know, we could probably do something like this, come back into here and then shift higher. You know, GBP AUD was the same thing. I originally caught this trade here down to the previous, down to this demand. But you could see same logic was applied on this. Where's our 4-hour swing high? There was our last pullback. This was our 4-hour high. So if we go down, then go down to a lower time frame, there's our low and there's our swing high. Price printed perfect internal structure, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And we create this higher high, higher low, higher high, change of character, pulled back into supply, and then we start to roll over. And that was a pullback on the 4-hour. Now price hasn't quite come into this demand zone yet, or mitigated our fib. Is that going to happen? We'll need to kind of wait and see, you know. But overall, we're bullish until we kind of get back up into these regions. Now again, you know, gold, why have I put this here to the left? Because so right now gold is probably reacting to, we have a demand zone here, which kind of sits here, but I'm not expecting a big push from here because we do have this imbalance here, but price could, you know, we don't know what price is going to do. Right guys, I've been on for an hour. That's me. I'm gonna jump off. Hopefully you took something away from that. If you haven't, you can re-watch it, go over the stuff that I've kind of covered, what my predictions are, expectations are. Remember, this isn't any financial advice. This is just educational and what I am expecting. You know, always do your due diligence and work with what you know and manage risk accordingly. So yeah, have a good one. Take it easy, and I'll speak to you guys soon.